It is no secret that a mix of Disney and Chicken Little never really turned out to be loved by a lot of people. This especially includes the games as well. That's what brings me to making this video. I'm going to tell you why I think all this game accomplishes is making the gamer feel like trash, and what game developers can learn from the Chicken Little video game. A good start to make your fellow gamer feel like trash is by making levels in your game feel like you accomplished nothing relevant to the story. Or another way of saying this is just doing something because you have to. There are a lot of points in this game where the game developers give you an extra task or just an extra level that is not needed and only there probably because the game lacked any meaningful gameplay. Take this for example.
What? You got to deliver surfboards? Oh, really? I guess we'd better do it then.
Why? Why am I delivering surfboards? Is it for my Uncle Jimmy? Am I delivering it to my mom? Or does Fish have a secret surfboard business that no one knows about? Delivering surfboards. I wasn't even delivering them for money. I was just mindlessly delivering them because the game wanted me to. It was just filler content that only gave me the next level when I completed it. This game doesn't stop with nonsense filler either. Towards the end of the game, it adds 2 final levels after the climax is resolved. You know in the movie when Chicken Little saves Earth, returning the lost alien baby? Well, in the game, you have a final boss, and after beating that final boss, you find out quickly that it wasn't actually the final boss. You put through 2 more levels, and they aren't the type that are easy. Why? I don't know. Don't you want more content? No, I want something that actually affects the story. After all, this does adapt an entire movie. Probably the most enjoyment I got from a filler type level that did nothing for the story was the Goose Chase. It was very difficult and definitely gave you a challenge, having to time your jumps while also avoiding lots of obstacles in your way. It got frustrating at points, but it did feel good for a moment after I completed it. But the moment only lasted a few seconds as I found out quickly Chicken Little gets caught anyway. The Goose Chase was just more content and it had no effect on the story. Another thing I found frustrating was how purposeless this game was. Was there anything unique to this game? I guess there was a new yo-yo Chicken Little played with. That's a good start I guess, but I mean, is there anything new about the characters or about the world you haven't known about before? Well, not really. If you've seen the movie, you've seen it all. So if you're a fan of Chicken Little, there isn't really any reason to play this game, as you will learn almost nothing new about Chicken Little. It's just another version of how the story was told, adding filler levels that mean nothing, and even though the yo-yo was new, some of the mechanics weren't even fully functional. God, I hated some of these damn things. Wow, there's nothing new because it's a faithful adaptation. Well, to the 30 fans that actually like Chicken Little, I'm sorry to disappoint you, but the video game doesn't do a good job telling a story, much less an accurate adaptation. If you haven't seen the movie, there's no way in hell you'll understand the story through the video game. It really only shows some major plot points from the movie and skips some details that are pretty important in understanding the reasons that some things happen. Take for example when Chicken Little pulls the fire alarm, immediately after that in the game he just seems to want to play baseball out of nowhere. I'll give the movie credit in that there was a reason Chicken Little did want to join the baseball team, but in the game there really wasn't one. There are lots of examples of just skipping through parts of the movie, rushing to the end. It doesn't create a full memorable story for the gamers to remember. Another aspect that the gameplay fails in is the spiderweb of gameplay. This game is kind of like a bunch of minigames put together into one. This made the game feel like a carnival, going from minigame to minigame and returning to some and not returning to others. Don't get me wrong, a variety of gameplay doesn't hurt, but when the game doesn't give you a reason to improve in one type of game style, it seems you start from scratch each level you play. This kind of caused a lot of levels to be really hard and others to be really easy. Some levels would take over an hour to complete, then the next level could be an easy 5 minutes. Like when you go through the Goose Chase and then shortly after that you have to hit a baseball by just clicking the right buttons at the right time. You just get completely different games not having any room for you to improve in or really enjoy. I noticed that through this type of game style when you return to some levels that you already played through, the developers just gave you a rewash of the same level and not really have any new mechanics or different ways of completing the level. The only difference between the levels was that it was longer than the one before. Except for the upgrades of the yo-yo, there was nothing else that made you feel like your experience was being enhanced by adding something new to the already existing gameplay. Is the game committed to an open area type of game, or are we going to keep playing Temple Run? There was a lot of that. This game has a very similar problem to the movie in that it doesn't know what it wants to be. With so much variety, I won't really remember what was so good about this game. Was it the part that I run around in my alien ship? Did I like the different ways of playing Temple Run? Or was it the part driving around in my stupid car? There are just so many mini games that it just felt like a bunch of small games combined into one. I don't think a story game wants to come off as a game like Mario Party. But I mean, hey, at least you tried something new. The only excuse I would give the developers for the inconsistent gameplay is the actual mini games you have to unlock, as it was meant for friends just to play together and didn't have a story to be told. You got to pick the ones you liked and disregards the ones you didn't, which you didn't have a choice in the main game. Maybe it's just me, but I don't think a carnival type of game really fits with the story one. I'm sure there's a lot more ways gameplay can make you feel like trash, but just for this game, these are the main elements that I found to cause it. So I hope what comes from this video is more discussion on how games make gameplay mean something to the gamer, how to add something new to your already existing gameplay, how gameplay can affect your story, and also how consistent your gameplay should be. I'm not going to be getting into answer each of these questions, as there's probably more than one answer to them and a lot I probably don't know about. So for now, I'll save these questions for the future. After this video, I hope that developers and gamers always keep these 4 questions in mind while making or playing a video game. I know that these don't apply to all games, but in general, I think these are the type of things that can grab an audience and keep them playing. If you disagree with me, tell me how I'm wrong or what you think is wrong with the game. I'm open to other people's opinions and suggestions. Oh yeah, and one last thing. Thanks for watching.